and right now a man who's been a leader in the fight against steroids in sports, Senator John McCain of Arizona. Nice enough to join Doug and Wolf this morning. Senator, good morning. How are you, sir?
Fine, Doug. Ron, how are you guys?
Doing great, Senator. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
What a game. What a game. I was over in Afghanistan, and I couldn't find out what was going on with the time change and everything. It was like 3 a.m. I woke up and wandered around the compound there and says, anybody know what's going on in the Cardinals game? What excitement. What excitement, huh?
It really was. It was, I think, Senator, I think it was the best playoff game maybe in the history of the National Football League. I'm going to put it right up there, 1 or 2.
I would, and you know what put up 1 or 2 is last year's Super Bowl.
Right.
I mean, I was looking at one of the things on ESPN. They had like the top 30 plays of the last few years, and 2 of the plays were out of that Super Bowl game.
You know, when you travel about, Senator, and again, we're talking to Senator John McCain here on the Doug and Wolf Show, are you seeing more and more Arizona Cardinal merchandise?
Yes. Isn't it amazing what winning does? It's amazing. I see it a lot. And of course, there's a lot of Arizona citizens who are serving in Iraq and Afghanistan. And, the first probably thing that we talk about when they come up to me is the cards, I mean, by the way, I saw that in USA Today that New Orleans is a 7-point favorite. I'll take that bet any day of the week. I'm not advocating betting. Don't get me wrong.
Nice job slipping that in.
But anybody who wants to bet, maybe of some kind, please call my office.
Do you get a chance to walk around the Senate at all? And I realize you've been gone on a long trip for a while, but did you talk to Senator Feingold? I know that you've worked with him long and hard on campaign finance and some other things, but I think it's time for him to don some Cardinals gear, isn't it?
It probably should be. It was just it's phenomenal, and it shows what coaching and leadership and attitude is all about. I don't have to tell either one of you, Ron, that there's an atmosphere that permeates a winning team, and there's an atmosphere that isn't there, and it's amazing. And by the way, could I ask, how is Anquan Bolden?
Anquan is a little banged up still, Senator. I doubt, this is just my own personal feeling, I doubt he's probably going to play this Sunday or this Saturday. But Anquan, you never know.
Yeah, and Preston played extremely well. I mean, well.
And
anyway, I know
kid?
That's not why you guys called. You wanted to talk about Mark McGuire.
It's Faye. Everybody in the nation's talking about the Cardinals. There's no problem with you doing it either. But Senator John McCain joining Doug and Wolf this morning. So tell us.
By the way, could I mention, as far as Kurt is concerned, I love it when old guys win.
I can't believe you haven't passed any legislation to keep people from retiring who have performed. It shouldn't be that hard. Anybody who throws only 4 incompletions can't retire in the NFL. You should just pass that law.
It's just truly amazing. It's truly amazing and remarkable, and I really believe that we're going to see him in the Super Bowl again. I really do. This kind of victory, momentum, success breeds success, as you know. Listen, on the Mark McGuire thing.
What was your reaction?
Well, the only surprise is that anyone's surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anyone surprised that that's the case? And it's sad. And, back years ago when I was chairman of the Commerce Committee and we had hearings and we had Don Fair and we had other individuals before the committee, and I was always very disappointed in the lack of cooperation on the part of the Players Union. They basically stonewalled and delayed action on this issue as far as testing is concerned, as far as moving forward, trying to help detect these things. One of the things we have to appreciate is that in some laboratory in America or around the world, somebody is working on a substance that will enhance performance that cannot be detected by present-day procedures. So it's always going to be a game of catch-up. And bad people are going to try to get an advantage. And I admire Mark McGuire. I admire Barry Bonds. I admire all these people. But what about the people, Ron, that did weren't they put at an unfair disadvantage? And that's one of the points here that I think that we have a tendency to forget. I have sympathy for Mark McGuire and what he's going through right now. I have sympathy for these guys that have been revealed, but there were a lot of outstanding athletes that didn't hit 70 home runs, and they didn't take these substances that enhance performance. And to say that it helps you heal from an injury, what about those that didn't take them and healed more slowly?
Yes, we are talking to Senator John McCain here on the Doug and Wolf Show. Are you satisfied, Senator? Let's flip it around. Not only the Players Association, but let's look at Major League Baseball as well, because I believe they were complicit in this. I believe they were culpable. I believe they also knew what was going on, and they kind of turned their head as well.
Well, don't you think they loved the ride when attendance was up all over in every ballpark in America when all these home runs were being hit? Do you think that they said, "Oh, wait a minute here, we ought to find out why all these records are being broken"?
Amen.
Right. Are you satisfied with Major League Baseball and the steps they've taken to combat
No,
steroid
but look,
use?
I'm not satisfied. I'm still not satisfied. But I also think, in all due respect, without naming anybody's name, owners select the commissioner that they like the best. Yeah, you see my point?
Yes.
So it's a sport that I love and cherish, and there's something unique about baseball as compared with any other major sport in America. But I hope that this will spur us on to making sure that these substances are not allowed to go undetected, and whatever it takes needs to be done. There is a credibility gap with baseball fans and Americans, and they need to close that gap. And this just widens it a little more. Although, as I mentioned, no one should have been surprised that this revelation was made by Mark McGuire, and my sympathy goes out to him and his family. But he'd have been a lot better off if he'd have just said it at that hearing.
Well, we're talking to Senator John McCain this morning with Doug and Wolf. And Senator, is there any culpability or failure on the part of Alberto Gonzalez? I found it interesting in the interview that it said Mark McGuire was trying to get immunity and he was going to come out, and the AG refused to give him that immunity, and your body was ready to accept that because you wanted to get to the bottom of that. Did Gonzalez let you down?
It's hard for me to know. It's hard for me to know because when you give somebody immunity, what does that mean? Or does that mean from that specific situation, or whether he lied under oath, or whether he cheated on tests or not? It's really hard to know unless you know exactly what the offer was. And again, and the question is, should he have been offered immunity anyway? So I just don't have enough knowledge to, or background. And I do know that the record is clear that the Players Association, and I have known Don Fear, and we have been friends for years, but they were singularly uncooperative in our efforts to get to this issue and address it correctly. And there's great question out there amongst the American public as to whether that's still going on today.
The great Senator John McCain joining us here on the Doug and Wolf Show. Philosophically, Senator, do you think, is it Congress's place to get involved in professional sports and in athletics?
I am very nervous about it, just like I don't think Congress should get into the BCS thing. We've all got our own pet theories as to how BCS should be run. I don't think Congress should be passing laws as to I think fans should be heard and public opinion should be heard, but I don't think Congress should be doing that. Now, as far as steroid use, well, now we're talking about illegal substances. Now we're talking about breaking of laws and making of laws. So then I think that was probably appropriate. So you see my point. And by the way, could I just mention, I went to a Coyotes game the other night. They won in a shootout with Vancouver. I hope that our fans will start going not only to the Suns game, who are surprisingly well, but the Coyotes are playing excellent hockey.
Yeah.
And we ought to really be excited about them and get excited and get out, and because we want to keep them in the Valley. They are really playing excellent hockey and tough hockey.
What is your favorite sport, by the way, Senator? What do you? I know you're boxing, right? You've got a special place for boxing.
Yeah, I got a special place for boxing because of, I've always admired so many of these young people who came from the bottom rung of our economic ladder to success, and the individuality of the sport. And as you know, I've been a little combative from time to time. But I guess I have to say football is, I'm like most Americans, it's my most favorite, but I have a special liking for the boxing and the people who have been so great, including Jack Johnson, and we've talked about the need to pardon him. And I still think that Sugar Ray Robinson was probably one of the great all-time boxers in the history that has not been given the what was his due by history. But anyway, but I'm so excited about the Cards. I'm excited about the Suns. I'm so excited about the Coyotes. Listen, here in Washington, we've got the Wizards. Okay, we've got the Nationals, and we have the Redskins. Three. This town has been cursed with three of the worst performing in all of professional sports. And this thing about Gilbert Arenas continues to puzzle me. I mean, that is a strange scenario.
It's absolutely atrocious. But Senator, I can tell you, when you were mentioning boxing, we have a special thing here on with Doug and Wolf. And that is, we call today Punch You in the Face Tuesday, because Ron Wolfley believes that sometimes people just don't have enough humility. So Wolf thinks every now and then there's a guy out there that just needs to be punched. So can you tell us anybody that's in the Senate that you would like to talk about on Punch You in the Face Tuesday?
Harry Reid.
Oh, it's great to talk to you, Senator. Come on with us anytime you get a second.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
Right, bye.
Bye, Senator. That's